Hi friends, retired meteorologist Eric Thomas here. As you know, I have jumped from in front of the camera to behind the camera as I am embarking on my filmmaking hobby. And so try this one on for size. What I'm doing here is producing a film that essentially recaps what I've captured so far in the year 2022. And I'm calling it Through My Lens. Let's get started. Okay, so let me just say right up front, this is a mixed bag of all kinds of things I've captured in 2022, ranging from weather, I've got some of that mixed in, to astrophotography, to professional jobs that I've been on. Some of those have been ranging from real estate to events that I've captured, or even some professional profiles. And then, of course, there's going to be some personal video that I'm going to include on here. I do have a grandson, after all. You know, I couldn't resist that. So please let me know in the comments what you think. This is a long video, so don't feel like you have to watch the whole thing. It extends over 9 months. And along those lines, if it's just boring, please let me know. Or if you think it's too self-indulgent, too self-serving, I want to know that too. I'm just trying to get better at this. Okay, I've talked enough. Let's get started. We'll kick it off with January of 2022. Well, January, really, my clips were all about the weather. Even when the skies were clear, I managed to catch this shot of the Milky Way galaxy with my Sony A7S III camera. It is a low light beast. I was up on top of Beech Mountain for this one. And then after that, though, January living up to its reputation. We had the winter weather following that. How about some sleet? Caught this slow motion on my back deck. Thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, on the 16th, we had 2 inches of snow here in Charlotte, recorded at the airport. There's a good look at my daughter Victoria with her puppy Freckles. And then we had another 2 inches of snow. This time it fell overnight. This is on the 21st of January. Pretty impressive as well. Well, things began to pick up in February as real estate agents started to contact me. I'll give you a few samples here of some properties that I shot. There's one on Honeysuckle, which is way up on the northern end of Lake Norman. Just love this shot here of the lot. There's no home there, but I managed to get up there early in the morning and caught some of the low clouds and fog. I thought really made for a pretty painting of that area. And of course, Palm Cove, this also on the lake, but this time we're on Lake Wylie, down south of Charlotte. The only other interesting moment that I had in February, I suppose, was my visit to my son and my daughter-in-law, Tyler and Jenny, up in Raleigh. Here's a shot of us around the fire pit. They all thought it was pretty cool until the prop wash from my drone started blowing the hot embers around the patio. So that didn't work out quite perfectly. Oh, by the way, here is the first look at my grandson, Flynn. And you can bet you'll see some more of these clips here before this video's over. Well, March was an interesting month. It starts off with this clip of Paisley, my cat, climbing out of the bushes? Okay, well, the real headline in March, and again, you can go back on my Facebook page and see the long form video of this, but the big headline for me was meeting my birth mother. Moment of truth. We're here. I'm pretty excited. This is crazy, 61 years. I never expected this moment to happen. What a trip that was, and again, I have that on video. I chronicled it. Outside of that, though, other big events. We had our quarterly Forever Family group where we go out and we film these wonderful children who are waiting to be adopted, looking for forever families. You can see this Tuesdays, 7 o'clock on WBTV News, so make sure you check that out. Every week we feature another child. We've had great success finding homes and finding families for these kids as well. All right, then I also went on to film the Go Gen Go and the Run Gen Run 5K, which, boy, another great cause here. They, of course, are supporting families who are dealing with breast cancer, and so happy and so blessed to be able to participate in that great cause. Outside of that, well, why not? Let's throw Flynn in here again, my grandson. This time, Flynn met his great-grandmother, which is my mom, who is here in Charlotte at Assisted Living. So it was a really exciting month for us in March. Well, April was actually a pretty quiet month. There was one exception, though, snowfall. No, not here in Charlotte, but in the mountains. And so who else but my good friend meteorologist Van Denton. He is the chief at Fox 8 WGHP in Winston-Salem and High Point, Greensboro, said, hey, Eric, come on. We got to get up to the mountains and enjoy some April snow. And we did. There we are, acting like kids, sled riding down the hill. Pretty impressive, though. Look at some of this video, though, of the snow that was really falling in earnest up that way. Again, mid-April snow in the Carolinas, that's not something you see every day, that's for sure. Oh, why not? Let's drop in again on Flynn and see how he's coming along here. Again, Flynn born back in September of 2021, so he's growing up fast. Well, the month of May was shot out of a cannon. First of all, the real estate market was still red hot. My phone was ringing off the hook. Here's a quick rundown of just a few of the homes that I filmed in the month of May. We'll start off with Fort Valley Court, pretty home there. Shasta, right here in the Charlotte area. How about Kristen Lake Court? Good looking home there. And finally, I was all the way down at Lake Tillery shooting some property. You don't see the home in this shot, but I couldn't resist filming these fishermen out there on the lake. I just loved the peaceful, tranquil scene with that. Interestingly, I had been at WBTV for 33 years and I had never gotten down to Lake Tillery, so I really enjoyed that experience. Well, while we're talking about activities on the water, here we go, Forever Family. We're back up again, our quarterly filming with these children who are in foster care, waiting to be adopted, and had a blast down there. The thing I love about Forever Family is we treat these kids to something really special during their big day with us, and then of course we talk to them, we interview them, we get to know more about them, and then we showcase them on WBTV News, as I told you, at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays, hopefully to expose them to all the viewers out there, and maybe you know somebody who's thinking about adopting. Well, certainly keep an eye on that feature every week, as said, 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. And if you miss it, you can head over to WBTV.com, and we definitely post them there, or you can even head over to 7 Homes Incorporated. They have a website as well. You know what? May also included some pretty important charitable events, which I was lucky enough to film. This one here, right around the corner in Charlotte, Sarcoma. raising money for this brutal disease and really trying to raise awareness to it. Not too many people have heard of sarcoma, so it was nice to be able to contribute to that. And then finally, the Strong Like AK Gala, which took place in Gastonia. AK stands for Adam Kincaid. He died of pediatric cancer, and they were, of course, inspired by his story and his courage through this battle, and now they are trying to raise awareness and raise money for folks who are also dealing with pediatric cancer. And they're trying to actually raise money for a home near the hospitals in uptown Charlotte for folks who are, well, dealing with it, and families who are coming from out of town who really just need a place to stay and feel normal while their children are undergoing treatment for pediatric cancer. So a really great cause there. So yes, it was a really busy month of May, but also very, very fulfilling. Well, summer has arrived. It's time for the month of June, and it was a mixed bag for Vicki and me. We were excited to go out to Wyoming. We saw Yellowstone, we saw the Grand Tetons, and also on day one of our vacation, we both were diagnosed with COVID. And so we were battling through that as we were trying to enjoy all the sights and sounds of that area. Fortunately, we were treated while we were out there, and we were able to manage and muck our way through that vacation. Again, keep in mind, if you want to see some long-form videos of these clips that we're showing today, just go back. I've linked to the video section of my Facebook page, and you can find these longer versions of some of these clips that I've been showing you today. The other thing, of course, let's take a quick look at the Milky Way galaxy again. I managed to get another nice time lapse of that. That was, again, shot out in Wyoming. And closer to home, the only thing that I was really participating in here was the Cotswold Farmers Market. I had a blast. I went out there a couple of times, and there's just some video and some clips of the great people and the fun times that we had out there. So if you are looking for something to do, it is still ongoing every Saturday morning at Cotswold. I think it kicks off at 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings, but you might need to check me on that. All right, well, it's time to move into the month of July. And what is the month of July best known for? Well, fireworks, sure. Well, of course, one of the best displays anywhere is uptown Charlotte. And I managed to get my drone up and get some shots of these fireworks. Really had a good time doing this. Again, I will tell you though, if you want to fly your drone at night around Charlotte, you have to have your FAA certification. All right, so don't get into trouble. Make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's if you want to do this. All right, outside of that, it wasn't just about man-made fireworks. How about nature's fireworks? Take a look at this lightning I shot, again with my drone. This was the best lightning I was able to capture all summer long. So that was fun, but I wish I would have had more opportunities. And finally, the only other thing that we really participated in was my longtime friend Alberta's wedding. Took place in Georgia. And when we got down there, she was pretty upset. She had nobody to video and film her wedding. Well, guess what? Yours truly, well, just happened to have his gear in the trunk. And I asked Alberta, would you like me to film your wedding for you? And she was very, very happy. So there's just a few samples from her wedding. All right, so we had a good month of July. Well, I mean, except for Alberta's wedding in July, not too much really happened, but boy, did things change in the month of August. It was absolutely jam-packed. Now, it did start off with another home that I filmed, and this was the biggest home I've ever filmed. Look at this beauty up on Culpeper Court on the northeastern side of Charlotte. I did manage to get a little bit more weather shot in the month of August as well. Here's just one lightning bolt that I caught at night, which wasn't too far from the uptown Charlotte area. And also you can see Charlotte in this picture, this time lapse. I just love the colors that I got with this storm that was also raging not too far from the uptown Charlotte area. Now, the other headline for the month of August was visitors. We had family visiting us from Louisiana and also family visiting us from Virginia. A little background now on Brad and his family. Brad is somebody that we actually took into our home for 4 years. You could say we fostered Brad as his family fell on some tough times. This was all back in the late 90s and also the early 2000s. And we did manage to get Brad through the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. He returned to Louisiana, married a beautiful lady, and they are raising 3 wonderful children. And it was just so rewarding to be able to help Brad turn his life around and to see them flourish now. Again, I can't say it enough. The reward was just beyond words. If you're ever thinking about fostering or adopting, I can tell you firsthand, it is a wonderful experience being able to reach out and help people in need. The visit that we received from Loretta was great. She brought 3 children of her own and more great-grandchildren for my mom to enjoy, so we headed back that way and spent a little bit of time over there. So again, thanks to Loretta for making the trip down here from Virginia. All right, well, let's go ahead and check back in on Flynn. This is a big month. Look at Flynn taking his first steps. So that's always an exciting moment in anybody's life. And here he is at 11 months old. So he is really well on his way. Way to go, Flynn. Well, one of the other highlights for me in the month of August was doing a little bit of traveling. And one place where we headed to was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, some of you may know that is my hometown. But in this case, here we go again, my buddy, meteorologist Van Denton, who is the chief meteorologist at Fox 8 in the Winston-Salem High Point area, said, hey, I'm heading up to the weather conference in Pittsburgh, so why don't you come along? And I thought, well, sure, it's my hometown, and I can head up there and maybe even annoy some of the meteorologists who I've come to know over the years up that way. So I said, let's go. Well, on the way to Pittsburgh, get this, we stopped in Mount Airy, which for a lot of you, you know what we're talking about here, is better known as Mayberry. And Van knows his way around that area. He was a big Andy Griffith fan. And so we headed to Floyd's Barber Shop. Now, this is interesting because we met Bill Hyatt, who you can see here. Bill Hyatt is the son of the original Floyd, who actually owned Floyd's Barber Shop there in Mayberry, or if you will, in Mount Airy. And here you go, here's a footnote for you. He actually cut Andy Griffith's hair as Andy Griffith was a boy and being raised there in Mount Airy. So there's a lot of history. It's a real tourist attraction. You can go in there and see the barber shop. It's actually a functioning barber shop again at this point. So it was a real big kick, and just again, keep in mind, the Floyd that I'm referring to, he was not actually in the show, Andy Griffith. All right, but they did use Floyd's Barbershop as part of the set, as part of the landscape of that show. And so there you go. Just a little bit of background for you on that stop. Now, we did eventually get up to Pittsburgh, and wow, I got my drone up in the air. Check out some of this aerial video here of the city of Pittsburgh. I mean, it is really a pretty city with the 3 rivers, the Allegheny, the Monongahela, all coming together there at the point, forming the Ohio River, which of course feeds all the way down through Ohio and into the Mississippi River. And again, I'm just stalling here a little bit because I really want you to enjoy my drone video. Even got some here at night. So that was a real big kick. Well, after Pittsburgh was finished, I didn't let the grass grow under my feet because I returned to Charlotte and immediately jumped in the car with my daughter Emily, and we headed down to Atlanta, Georgia. So what was happening in Atlanta? Well, another bucket list item for me. My kids bought me this for Christmas last year. It was tickets to see Carlos Santana, and along with him, Earth, Wind & Fire. And this wasn't shot with my fancy camera. Look at this now. It does pay off to have a really good camera on your phone. This was my S22 Galaxy Ultra. It's a Samsung phone, and you can see what it looked like from where we were sitting, but it also has a really good zoom lens. And wow, I was able to get some pretty cool shots of the bands playing up there on stage. And I will tell you, it was the best concert I have ever attended. Just fantastic performances, both from Earth, Wind & Fire and Santana. So very, very lucky. It was a great month of August, to be sure. And that brings us up to the month of September. Of course, we're only about halfway through now, but it was a big month. It was my grandson's first birthday. So here's a look at a few clips of the event and of the festivities. A lot of people were invited to Tyler and Jenny's house to help celebrate the big moment. So, hey, folks, thanks so much again. If you stayed to the end of this, I salute you. Again, as I said at the beginning, I hope it wasn't too self-indulgent, but I thought maybe you'd enjoy just seeing some of the clips and maybe a cross-section of what I've been getting into here so far in my first year of retirement. So thanks again for watching, and again, leave me a comment if it was too boring, too self-serving. Let me know. If you think it was worthwhile, then I may be inspired again to do another one of these, maybe every 6 months or so, just to kind of give a recap of some of the content that I've been able to capture through the lens of my camera. Have yourself a great fall season.